How did you find the whole experience of doing it?
I mean, the truth of it is, it was a kind of a whirlwind 6 weeks. That was absolutely exhilarating from start to finish. I mean, we were kind of nervously excited, is a phrase I've used before, because it was that kind of almost suspense of waiting to start filming and kind of what's it going to be like, you know, we did kind of weeks and weeks of workshops with police officers and kind of retired police officers. So you're waiting to kind of get on set for the first day, and then suddenly we start shooting and it was just going go, 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 go. There wasn't really a second to kind of stop. And we went like that for 6 weeks, you know. It was kind of, we went through 10 storylines, 6 weeks. I mean, I'd go into kind of interview rooms for episode 7 and I'd say, Laurie, you know, your daughter's missing. And he's like, I'm Brendan, I'm here for drug abuse. So I have to go back out and go again. But it was fantastic, you know, and I mean, I'm so proud of what we watched in there today. I mean, I saw it once before Christmas, but to see it on a big screen, you know, I'm really, really pleased with what it's turned out.
Would you say those workshops with the police were invaluable?
Oh,
I mean,
couldn't have done it without it.
Absolutely.
No, you can't have to. I think that the goal of it really was, for us, I think, is that when police officers watch this programme, hopefully, that they will see that it's kind of a realistic, genuine, truthful representation of their day-to-day lives. And you can't do that without learning phrases like job pissed, or I needed to get the collar, or I got the collar, I saw the red mist, I couldn't help myself. And those kind of colloquial kind of phrases, I think, are absolutely essential to give it that added level of reality, which the camera is doing so perfectly, I think. Wow.
How did you feel in the scenes between you and the father? I thought they were quite intense.
Yeah, especially because you're kind of cooped up in this room, kind of maybe the size of this, and you've got 5 cameras on you, and it's just the 2 of you in a room, and the director's kind of behind that wall, and he's kind of screaming in directions, and it's kind of just the 2 of you left to your own devices. And you know roughly what you're going to do when you go in there, but you're kind of waiting for him to say something, and I'm trying to...
But he's coming on their own. I just thought that they was always in pairs, but obviously that's not the case. So.
The one with the father and Zoe in the interview room, we kind of manufactured, from a storyline point of view, we...
pretended that it wasn't actually from an interview.
Exactly. In order to kind of slightly unsettle Laura's character. But normally the solicitor is kind of always present in those situations.
I also thought 2 policemen would be present as well. But
generally, we had that question before we started. I think generally in a formal interview there are 2 police officers present, but it depends on the caseload, it depends on what's going on. If loads of officers have had to go out to an incident but an interview needs to be done, if there is only 1 officer, then it's not ideal, but they will go in alone, and hence why part of why the proceedings are often filmed and recorded, audio as well, because, you know, at least you have that backup of going, I know that I don't necessarily need to have a second person, it's all down on the paper and on the tape what happened and how things went down.
And did they do those interviews on the sofa as well? There were quite a few scenes in that chill-out area. Sorry, is it? You know, is that realistic? Is that?
Yeah, I think in every police station, as far as I understood, there is a kind of soft interview area, and it's where, you know, perhaps if you have something that's a bit more sensitive, if someone is grieving in some way or struggling, then you can put them somewhere. Often there's like I don't think you can see it in those shots, but there's a kids' table with some toys and stuff, so if you need to talk to a young child, they can come in and not feel like they're in a really sparse interview room, and it can be either a way of comforting someone or a device to put, you know, trying to take someone's guard down so that you can ask certain questions. So it can be quite a useful room to have.
As actors, I mean, the characters, we don't really get to know anything about them, and I understand from talking to Faye just now that we never go into their private lives, we don't go home or anything. How's that when you're an actor to establish your character when you're just working from a basic plot and then you're improvising as well? I mean, you've got nothing really to work with.
I think for me it was quite alien at first, because you're so used to, you know, building a character and building their personality, and that's often through their personal relationships and the things that they choose to do in their spare time and the things they say, that kind of thing. And it was difficult because you didn't have that, but we still wanted to build personality, because hopefully that's what will keep people coming back. You want to say, this is the kind of person that I am, and this is the kind of person that Jack Weston is. and you have to try and do that within those really kind of confined spaces, which is tough. It's a challenge. We tried as much as we could. A lot of that necessarily had to go because we needed to drive the story forward. But I think the point of what we were doing with this show was bringing people into a police station and showing how a crime is investigated. And so, I mean, hopefully there are flashes of personality in there, but also there's a very strong storyline, and watching us investigate a crime, hopefully that's interesting enough.
Did you have a sense of your character?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Love life and with their parents. And
yeah, we did chat about that quite a lot. I mean, it doesn't always come through, but at least in my head, I sort of knew.
There's no relationship. Your two characters don't flirt with each other, or
No, I
can't bear.
This is what I have to deal with for 6 years. I think that would have been slightly. Sorry, my wonderful colleague. I think that would have been kind of slightly an easy choice.
Yeah.
Let's get them
Yeah.
together. But I think, and the directors were fantastic, Craig and John, at this, saying, let's roll the camera for just 30 seconds before the scene starts and let's see what happens. And then you get those moments, which is one of the reasons I was attracted to the job in the first place, is that you get private moments, very fleetingly. But one of the things that Steve, the police advisor, told us is that when you're eating, you never eat at your own desk. Because you get crumbs everywhere, you get croissant, you get greasy curry on someone else's desk. You don't have to wipe it up. So it's little moments like that that kind of give the audience, I think, a little kind of a desire to just look a little bit further, a little bit closer. And that's what I was interested in developing, that kind of, Claire's character, Charlie, arrests the guy. I wanted to arrest him. How does that kind of look when it's kind of I'm in the background of the shot, or just little fleeting moments of character, which I think were great fun to develop, and the directors were very good at kind of.
And hopefully those little bits, because they are so few and far between, when they come will be so few and far between, people catch them and go, we got a little bit of something about that person, and then the story starts to unfold. But hopefully they'll take those and really kind of hold on to them because they are so sparse. I hope.
And did you prefer working in the improvised way to having a normal script, or is it going to be strange to go back to working with a normal script?
I liked it. I really enjoyed we had quite we had storylines and story documents from our story team, and they broke the scenes down, so we had something to follow, although we didn't necessarily have words to say. And I enjoyed that because it meant that everything that came out of my mouth was absolutely the way in which I would say it. It's Detective Constable Charlie Steele is basically me if I was a police officer, the same with Damien, the same with Faye, and it kind of takes away one element of something you have to worry about when you're working, which is how do I make somebody else's words sound natural coming out of my mouth, and I quite enjoyed that. Did you?
But it's very exciting going into a scene and having no idea what you're about to say next. And basing my entire performance around what you're going to say next, or if you don't look at me, and it's fantastic. And we really only got to do 2 takes or anything because of the kind of the speed at which we were filming. But you felt by the second take it was almost stale, because actually the gold is in the first opportunity where you say I did it, and kind of my reaction is.
So do you think any drama could be made like this? Period drama or Downton Abbey? Could they just wing it? I mean, is that
I can imagine what that would be.
To be honest, I think the key is the research. I mean, I think the key is being so convinced in your own mind that I am a police officer, and having all the tools available to me to be able to walk into a room and say, I'm a carpenter, this needs to come down, I need to do something with that door, those skirting was.
I would not watch that show.
Neither would I. I'm trying to float this idea to Ben Pratt.
About Jesus Nazareth.
What was it like working with Faye? Because she is, with all respect to you, the most famous face in the show. Were you slightly nervous about that when you began, because you were working with somebody as well known on TV, or?
I think when you haven't met someone and you haven't spent time with them, then obviously that is a consideration. But the minute that she came on set, she was just really great fun to be around, and there was no airs and graces, and she was absolutely one of the team. And so it's just like working with a mate, and that was great.
And we were all in the same boat, really, to be honest. From producers, from directors to actors. you know, to essays, to camera, to sound. Everyone was kind of stepping off the plank a little bit, not knowing how far down the drop was.
That's a level up.
And we were all just wanted to make this a really, really
What were your
great show.
hours then? Favourite thing, how many did you work? Did you work massively long hours?
We did 6 days a week. I think.
It is 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, I think.
But I suppose it was the confined space and the amount of episodes we had to do was the kind of brain mess where you do go into the wrong interview.
You feel like a proper.
Where did you shoot it?
In Bethnal Green, we used the LEB building and just turned that into, it's got 4 floors. So we had set on 2 floors and costume and makeup on another floor, editing on another floor, production on another floor. So we all just kind of lived in this lovely derelict building.
LEB?
Yeah.
London Electricity Board?
It used to be years ago. Now the council owns it, and I think they use it mostly for filming and stuff like that. It's a really cool space to work.
So you got the whole thing wrapped up in 2 weeks, did you? If you're filming an episode in 2 days?
It was.
No,
We filmed for
5 weeks, I think.
We filmed for 5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Filmed 5 weeks, and then we had there were certain days which were kind of leftover days if we'd missed anything or needed to reshoot anything. So we had a couple of days which were miscellaneous.
Was each episode shot in sequence? Or?
As much as possible, but it was kind of, to make the schedule as efficient as possible. We would do, for example, all of the scenes that were set in CID, we'd go up there and run through them in order, and then you'd go down to the interview rooms and run those in order. So they were in order in a set, but you would obviously have to go back and forth a bit between which part of the set that you were in.
And the day before we were in the CID offices, we'd be out on location. So all the CCTV stuff would all be processed overnight by the editing department. So we're on set the next day in the CID, pressing play on the CCTV. The CCTV was coming up on screen. So I mean, everyone worked their absolute ass off.
What were the logistics of shooting on location? Because I mean, you know, you're shooting pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It must have been difficult.
And there's times when, you know, we'd be driving along, not a closed off street, but a street well away from any main roads. And we would plant the person that we're looking for at the top of the road, and we would drive up relatively slowly, but it looks a lot faster on camera. The cameraman in the back, us two in the front, and we would see them, we'd stop the car, open up, and then sprint after them. And the
So
camera
you
would get
arrested
out.
that sort of child killer coming
Yeah,
out?
That was
that
outside
street
Bethel-
closed off, or
Bethel-
did you
No, that's a Bethel
really
Green
just
station.
drove up?
For people in the cars or at
Essentially,
traffic lights, you know, looking, going, oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god! And all you can do is like, police, nothing to see here, nothing to see here, you know, and it's kind of, you just have to rely on instincts.
I wonder how many people would
get
tell
off him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they go home and they're like, you never guess what I've seen. It's,
Faye said she sort of hinted that it gave her a sense of power. Did you feel like that at all?
Well, it was definitely good fun to be shooting this out and about. We shot one of the most fun scenes I think we did was in Liverpool Street Station, where we had to follow some people off the tube and arrest them. And it's, you know, I've lived in London all my life. I go through Liverpool Street Station all the time, and it's to be there working in that capacity was really good fun. And there are lots of people looking at you, and you're just going, you have no idea what I'm on. Yeah, that's right.
Did any real life police come up to you and say, what are you doing?
When we shot out and about, we always had to have an actual police officer with us, so that we weren't just impersonating police officers, which is against the law. Did you not wonder who the police were?
no, I just thought they were extras.
A uniform police officer?
Yeah, we always had to have a uniform police officer.
One of the best things about Liverpool Street Station, we asked if we could do it. There was a kind of a woman from London, or Transport for London, who was kind of chaperoning us, kind of underground through the station. And we had to have a scene where we walk into the station and through the barriers. But she was able to tap, we were able to just flash the card, and she tapped the doors, so the doors just opened for us, and we walked through, and that was probably the most powerful I I was like, wow, my weekly Oyster card.
You sign up to do any more of these if it gets recommissioned, or what are you doing there?
I'm starting to play on Thursday in the Gate in Notting Hill.
Oh yeah.
Hence my beard.
Right.
So we got our first run through at lunchtime. So
Yeah.
I have to dash off. And so that starts next. Hopefully it's on Thursday.
Yeah. What about you?
I am unemployed at the moment, which is great. I get to spend a lot of time on my sofa. But still auditioning and stuff. If this was to do another series, I'd absolutely think about it. It was great fun. really, really proud of what we've produced, and you know, you can finally go, I can put that on my CV, that's fine, and all my friends can watch it, which is nice to have.
Are they going to show it in the intense way it was made? They're going to show it not strict across the week, or is it going to be a weekly thing? Do you know?
Weekly.
Weekly, right? Yeah.
And if they said we're going to treble the budget, do you think that would change it completely?
I think it probably would change it completely.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't mind them paying me more. That's
No.
fine.
Yeah.
Just
But there's a real grittiness to it, and a real kind of edge, I think, to it. It doesn't have the gloss of the, you know, fade in kind of, oh my god, look at this kind of special effects explosion. You know, I think there's a truth to this, but I hope there is.
Is there an equivalent? Is there another example of it? Was the Cops improvised? You know, that Tony Garrett thing BBC Two did back in the day?
oh yes, no,
I
that.
think that had an element.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
But
the last time it's done.
yeah, I think this is quite new and quite innovative.